For the first time in a while, welcome back to the Christian&Cowboy Podcast. As always, we're joined by Cowboy. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, son. How about you?
Not bad. It was a half day, so that's always a good thing. Got some tests tomorrow I got to take care of, but other than that, I'm pretty good. Just sitting here watching this Preds game. We're up 2-1 in the first right now against the Devils, and we'll go ahead and start by talking about them. Been a little inconsistent to start under John Hines. It's a weird thing that we haven't really been able to string together wins at home. We've got to start doing that if we want a chance to make the playoffs. But big win last night in Washington on the road on national TV, and here again playing on national TV on the road against the Devils. It'd be in a back-to-back too. It'd be huge for the Preds to get 4 points out of that.
Ovechkin's still one of the best players in the league.
Yep. He sure is. Do you have anything to add on that, or have you watched like a second of hockey all year?
No, I haven't. But I mean, what you said is right. I mean, they got to start winning home games. And what you tell me they've got in March?
We have a span. I don't remember. George Plaster said this on his radio show. I don't know if have I told you that he's got a radio show down here again.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah.
Back into it.
Yeah. He said on his radio show. I don't remember when he said it was, but it's a span like. It might be like, it's near February and March where it's like 22 days where we have like 9 home games in that span. So
right.
We need to win at least like 7 or 8 of those.
I was going to say, if you do, you probably make the playoffs. So that'll decide it. I'd say the season. It's that stretch.
Yeah, probably. I'd say so. And I mean, probably the biggest bright spot for the Predators right now, Roman Yossi's probably having the best season the best, if not one of the best, if not the best season of his career. Probably in consideration for the Vezina right now for the best defenseman in the league. So, All-Star again too. So he's been having a really good year, not just defending the puck, or not just on defense, but also putting the puck in the net too, and finding his teammates for them to put the puck in the net. He might lead the team in points. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure he's up there.
Surely not. As a defenseman?
He might. It seriously wouldn't surprise me. It might be Forsberg. I don't know. I haven't looked at the stats in a while, but the way they were talking that, like he was, I don't know.
I haven't looked at the stats all year. I've looked at I look at the standings about once a week. And you talk about Yossi. Rene might be having his worst year as a pro.
Yeah, that's about the only bright spot for Rene has been that goal he scored against Chicago a couple weeks back.
Yeah, which is, I couldn't believe that's only happened like 7 times in league history.
I couldn't believe that either. I knew it didn't happen often, but I couldn't believe that it had only happened that many times.
I feel like I've seen it 3 or 4 times, but when they do that, when they do an empty net, you just think that would happen more often.
Yeah. And you know who else? Who another one of the guys is that's scored one of those goals as a goalie? Chris Mason. So I can say that I've met someone that scored a goal as a goalie.
Was he with the Predators?
Yeah, he was. Chris Mason was. I'm pretty sure he was with the Predators when he scored that goal. I'm not 100% sure. I think it was like 06, maybe. I'm not 100% sure.
He was a good goalie.
Yeah, that's for sure. Let's go ahead and move on to. We'll go to this. Obviously, we all know what happened on Sunday afternoon. Just the tragic events of the helicopter crash that took the lives of Kobe Bryant and his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna. If you just want to give your thoughts on that, and then maybe when you think of Kobe, just the memory that stands out the most.
Well, people die every day, and you just never know, no matter if you're famous or not. It could be your time, and you have to be ready. As far as Kobe goes, I mean, I would say probably the 2008 Olympic gold medal game when he just took over the fourth quarter of the game. They could have lost easy to Spain. And he made 4 or 5 3-pointers in the fourth quarter and kind of sealed the deal. I mean, he was as close to Jordan as we'll ever probably see. some of these guys, I mean, they're not Jordan. I don't care what anybody says. Whereas Kobe was kind of like him.
Yeah. Obviously I wasn't around for the 81-point game, but what do you remember about that? If I remember correctly, wasn't that game on Championship Sunday in the NFL? So like no one watched it live.
Which one is this now? The 80-point game?
The 81-point game, yeah.
I don't remember really anything about that because it was toward the end of the year, I think, and he was going for a scoring title.
I'm pretty sure from what I remember, it was like Championship Sunday in the NFL. So no one really watched it live. Everyone just found out about it when they watched SportsCenter the next day or that night.
Right. I just don't remember, son. I knew that it happened, but as far as any real memories of it, no, I don't. I can't say that I do.
Well, the unfortunate part for me is I really didn't start watching the NBA till about 2015, 2016, and by that time, two things. Kobe was past his prime and he was about to retire, so about the only real memory I have of him, like actually watching him, was that last game where he just took over in the fourth quarter, ended up getting 60, and Mike Tirico was talking about something this past week that you wouldn't have noticed it unless he pointed it out. When he was shooting those free throws to give him 60 points, so he hit the first one to give him 59 points. Gordon Hayward, who was still playing for the Jazz at the time, he purposely committed a lane violation just so in case he missed that free throw, he would have another shot at it. I thought that was really cool. Just as like you can tell, like that's how much players respected him, and it's a shame he had to go so early, but.
I had never heard that story. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Where did you read that at?
Oh, it was just an interview I heard with Mike Tirico because he was calling that game.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, you would never, like I said, you never would have noticed it unless he pointed it out. You never would have noticed it. Okay.
Go
ahead.
No, it just was what I said before. It just goes to show, famous or not, you're mortal. You're going to die someday. You need to be ready to go, whenever it might be.
Yeah. All right. So another thing I want to discuss here is the new All-Star Game format. I'm not sure this is going to be permanent All-Star Game rules or if this is going to be like just for this year. They're kind of doing a Kobe tribute here too, so I'm going to read off the rules. Both All-Star teams will play for Chicago-based community organizations as selected by team captains Giannis Antetokounmpo and LeBron James. Teams will compete to win each of first three quarters, which will all start with a score of 0-0 and be 12 minutes long. At the start of the fourth quarter, game clock will be turned off and a final target score will be set. The final target score will be determined by taking the leading team's cumulative score through three quarters and adding 24 points, the 24 representing the late Kobe Bryant's uniform number. Once the final target score is set, the teams will play an untimed fourth quarter, and the first team to reach the final target score will win the All-Star Game.
So they're going to add up the highest of the three scores and add 24 to it?
Yes.
Why? I mean, I don't know.
They're just trying to make it interesting, and the three quarters, they're basically acting like, you know how I said it's going to be 0-0 at the start of every quarter? And they're playing for charities. Each quarter, you're playing for a charity. So if you win the first quarter, it's $100,000 for your charity. If you win the second quarter, and so on. So I guess they're just kind of trying to make it more interesting because, most of the time the All-Star game is like almost 200 points because no one plays defense. So 200 points apiece, not 200 points total. 200 points total is a regular season game.
I remember one year it was like 188 to 180 or something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah. Did you see that Grizzlies-Knicks fight last night?
I heard about it.
What a bad place that Knicks franchise is in.
They are.
In other news, John Morant is balling out for the Grizzlies and currently has them, I think, the 8 seed by, 3 games. So Grizzlies are in the playoffs right now, and John Morant's probably going to win Rookie of the Year. So I'm pretty happy.
No, he's great, man. I remember one time we did one of these things. I'm not so sure that Zion was the pick. I mean, Morant, he's a stud, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Did you watch any of Zion's first game?
I read about it, though.
Yeah, you know what really made me mad? I watched it. I did watch it, but then I turned it off. Like literally right before he went on that run of like 17 points in the fourth quarter, I was like, I'm getting bored. I'm turning this off. And literally, I get the alert like 30 minutes later, Zion 17 points in fourth quarter, and I'm like, of course he did.
Well, I don't know. He looks like just a big fat tub of lard to me. He's got to slam down.
Yeah.
He had to.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and move on to another topic that came out today that I thought was kind of interesting. Mookie Betts and David Price are involved in this. The Red Sox have I've been in trade talks with the Dodgers about a deal potentially that would involve Mookie Betts and David Price being traded to the Dodgers.
Well, I mean, who's LA going to sit down? I mean, he's in their outfield. Bellinger plays center. Isn't that what Mookie Betts plays?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'd probably rather have Betts than Bellinger.
Which Bellinger he can play any position on the field probably.
Yeah, I mean, he plays first sometimes. He plays second sometimes. So, yeah, I mean, you can play Bellinger anywhere. So, I don't know.
Well, I mean, it'd be a one-year thing. You got to understand one thing about Betts is a lot of his numbers come from playing in Fenway. Dodger Stadium's a very different thing. I don't know about that.
Fenway's pretty small, so.
Yeah, man. Those left-handed hitters can get up there, or those righties, I mean, they hit those balls off the wall, and it don't work that way anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one year for $27 million, and maybe put you over the top. I'm to the point with LA. I'm worried about their pitching more than anything. Kershaw's just not going to be what he could be. Of course, they've got Bueller, but that's as far as it goes. Who else is in their rotation?
Hyun-Jin Ryu, maybe.
I think they'll let him go. He's a free agent.
Oh, really?
I
Didn't even know that. I'm pretty sure he is. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, to be honest. About the only two things I've kept up with baseball in the offseason is the Reds signed Mike Moustakas. Don't know if you've seen that, but a lot of people think the Reds are stocking up enough to where they might be the favorites to win the Central next year.
I heard there were people talking about that the Reds might pick him up.
Who, Betts?
We're kind of thinking about trying to get Betts. I don't see that.
They're definitely the moves we've made this all season. We're definitely trying to win, like now. I mean, getting Moustakas to that deal, and I'm pretty sure. I think we signed Marcell Ozuna too, a guy out of Philly that you might I'm sure you've heard of him.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
I'm pretty sure we signed him too. We signed Pedro Strop today, that reliever from Chicago. He was decent in Chicago. I mean, we'll take him, but if whatever the dude's name is, his name is just out of my mind right now. Whatever the guy's name is that went on that home run streak last year. You know who I'm talking about, though, right? Where he had like.
I can't name his name. He's a guy kind of local from Cincinnati.
Yeah. If we can get him going, if we can get, if Votto can come back to form, which the past few years it hasn't really looked like he's ever going to, but.
It's doubtful, but sometimes those guys, they'll have one more big season in them.
Yeah.
He's a good enough hitter. It could happen.
All I'm saying is I'm actually looking forward to how the Reds do this year, because I think we're in a position to where we can win now.
I hope you do, son. You hadn't seen them be good in a long time.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to Tom Brady posted a pretty interesting picture on his Twitter at about 6 o'clock tonight, where it's a picture, it's no context, just a picture of him standing at Gillette Stadium, like outside the tunnel for the locker room, and you can't really tell if he's going onto the field or leaving the field.
Right.
So everyone's trying to figure out what the crap he's talking about, and of course he didn't leave any context. Regardless of that, what is your prediction on where Brady goes and if he retires right now?
He's not going to retire. He's not got enough sense to do that. That's what he should do. He's in for a surprise. He's going to leave, and he's not going to be as good. And the Patriots are going to be in for a surprise too. If they think they're going to keep winning without him, they're dreaming. It's going to be a bad move for both parties. Where he's going to go, it seems like every team in the league doesn't have a young quarterbacks talking about him. I mean, the Jets and the Giants, San Diego, the Titans.
The Giants? What about Daniel Jones? And I thought Daniel Jones was the future of the Giants, and I thought Darnold was the future of the Jets.
I don't understand why either team would do that. Yeah, you got young kids in there playing. They used to bring in a 44-year-old guy that's on the downside. I mean,
just as a Titans fan, my official take is I do not want Brady to the Titans at all. No.
Well, I kind of
just
get it. If you're a Titan, if you're an executive of the Titans, I get that more than I do the Jets and the Giants. Because Tannehill's been in that league for a while. You kind of know what you're going to get out of him. Although he was great for 8-9 weeks this year, but can he do that again? I mean, he's never done it before. I think with the running game they've got and that defense, I mean, I'd take a flyer on Brady. If he wants to come to the Titans, I'd give it a shot, but I just don't. I think he's basically done as a dominant player. I just don't. I mean, this season he didn't play well. His statistics were down in every category. It just looks like he's lost a lot of his fastball off his just velocity on his passes just don't seem to be there. Getting the ball down the field, he can do that dink and dunk stuff, but I don't know. I don't trust Tannehill. I don't trust Brady either.
Yeah, okay. I don't trust Tannehill, but I trust him more than I do Brady. If I was given an option, Tannehill or Brady right now, I would take Tannehill 100% of the time. Yes.
Well, I can understand where you're coming from.
No, Brady. We do not want Brady to the Titans. No, because
I kind of got a sense he's going to go to the Raiders. Is where I think he'll be. That's my prediction.
That would be interesting. And see, the problem is with him and the Titans, everyone's going to say, "Oh, Vrabel and him are still friends," and I'm just going to be, "Oh my goodness."
Well, I'm sure they
are. They are. They still talk a lot from what I hear. So, all I know is for my sake, hopefully that doesn't happen. I personally think he's going to go to the Chargers, not the Raiders. I think he's going to stay. I think he's going to go to the AFC West, but I think he's going to go to the Chargers, and it'll be interesting to see him against Mahomes twice a year.
Yeah, it would. It sure would. Just imagine if he did go to the Titans. You talk about you go down there for training camp most every year. Man, it'll be a circus down there.
It was this year. It was this year. When the Patriots and Titans had joint practices, it was a circus down there.
Did you go to it?
No, I didn't, because every day they had open practices, I was in school. So
okay.
I couldn't, but and then they had the preseason game that same week. But yeah, during those joint practices, yeah, it was packed down there.
Interesting.
And other news, Derrick Henry basically confirmed today he wants to stay in Tennessee because during a Bleacher Report Q&A thing that he was doing today, someone asked him if he wants to run for the governor of Tennessee, since he basically put the state on the map. He said, "I don't know about that, but I do want to stay in Tennessee." So.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have any reason to leave, but they're going to have to pay him some money.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
We'll see if the Titans want to do that. A lot of teams don't like to pay running backs.
Yeah. Speaking of the Titans, Mike Vrabel. There are some rumors going around that Mike Vrabel might just promote himself to be the new defensive coordinator. I don't know how I feel about that. I honestly don't like it because as a football fan myself, that happened with Derek Mason at Vandy, and it just did not work out at all.
Yeah, it usually doesn't.
It usually doesn't work out just in football, period.
No, the head coach has got too many responsibilities already. That's just one more thing they got to do, and it rarely works out well. But, Belichick, he's not had the title, but he's the defensive coordinator in New England. But you can find a lot of times where coaches, where they have an offensive coordinator, where they're trying to call plays, it just doesn't really work. But I'll tell you where it does work. It's in Kansas City. Andy Reid calls pretty good plays. So you just never know. It's
See, their offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator? Offensive, I'm assuming.
For Andy Reid?
Yeah.
Oh, he's offensive.
Yeah, I assumed so.
Yeah, he calls the plays and does well at it. So you just can't ever tell. It depends on the coach. Can they take on the burden? I mean, I don't know. He might be fine at it.
Let's see. So, speaking of Andy Reid, him and the Chiefs against the 49ers in the Super Bowl this weekend. Unfortunately, it's not the Tennessee Titans and the 49ers, but that's another story for another day. What do you think the keys are to the game just overall? And then, what do you expect from the game Sunday?
I expect San Francisco's front four to dominate the game. I think they'll get pressure on Mahomes without having to blitz. I think the 49ers are going to have to play a lot of zone coverage. They can't play man. At least Sherman can. Sherman can't cover those receivers. He just can't run well enough anymore. So they'll have to play zone, I would think. And so that's going to make it up to Mahomes. Can he make throws underneath? I tend to think he can't deal with the pressure. But, I mean, it's never really bothered him in the past. But I'm a believer in a great defense will always beat a great offense, and I think the Niners have got a special defense. Now, can Kansas City slow down that run game like they did with the Titans? If they can, they've got a chance. If Garoppolo's got to beat them, I don't know if he can do that. If they can turn it into a shootout, you got to like Kansas City's chances. But if you put a gun to my head, I like the Niners to win this game pretty easily, as a matter of fact.
To be honest, I'm kind of on the flip side of that, and I'll give my reason why. The Chiefs went up against a run-heavy offense of the Titans, obviously, in the AFC Championship game. The 49ers aren't necessarily a run-heavy offense. Obviously, they were in the NFC Championship game with Raheem Mostert running the ball for 231 yards, I believe, in that game. I think he had 4 or 5 touchdowns, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see if in some games this year, San Francisco has been a run-heavy or a pass-heavy offense, so they can win both ways.
Yeah.
I think it depends. The game's going to depend on how effective San Francisco's offense is going to be, not on how effective Kansas City's offense is going to be. I think San Francisco's offense against Kansas City's defense is more important in this game than Kansas City's offense against San Francisco's defense, because I feel like this Kansas City offense is just so unstoppable that it's not going to matter how good the 49ers defense. I understand the 49ers defense is very good, but I just don't see them stopping the Chiefs offense. I don't know. After what I've seen these past few weeks, these past 2 playoff games, and that's another thing that's scary about the Chiefs. Even when you have them down, I mean, the Titans and Texans both know this. Like, even when you have them down, we could have been up 10 with 3 minutes left. It wouldn't have been over. So I'm not going to give a prediction yet because I'm making a preview, Super Bowl preview tomorrow. Go check that video out tomorrow. But that's my initial thoughts right now about the game.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, this game reminds me so much of I can't tell you the Super Bowl number. San Francisco played the Dolphins years ago. Dan Marino's second year in the league.
That's what everyone's comparing it to.
It's the same thing. It looks so similar to me. And San Francisco rolled them. Wasn't even a game. I just got a feeling.
And Marino never got back to the Super Bowl.
Never got back. No, he didn't. So it's hard to believe that would happen to Mahomes, but we'll see. I mean, I've been on his bandwagon from the first day he started. I told you, I said, this kid is really something special. So if he is, he'll make it happen. But the thing is, football's a team game. People like Skip Bayless just don't seem to understand that. They think it's all about the quarterback, and it's not. And I just think the Niners have a more well-rounded team all around. If you can get pressure in that league with 4, and you don't have to blitz, you're going to win in that league, and that's what the Niners do.
Yeah. Even Michael Strahan was on, just like the Tonight Show the other day, and even he said that that's the thing about the 49ers defense is they can get pressure and they don't even have to blitz. So that's the scary part about their defense. And obviously the Chiefs' offense can score in a blink. So hopefully this isn't going to be a blowout. Hopefully this is going to be one of the best Super Bowls we've seen in a while.
Well, it could be. It's a contrasting style. Sometimes that's what makes fights. Styles make fights, if you're talking about boxing. So you got two contrasting styles, and it could end up being a great game. I'd say we got one coming after that debacle last year.
Gosh, that was probably... except for that 48-3-8 debacle that the Broncos put on the field in Super Bowl 48, that was probably the worst Super Bowl of my life that I've ever watched.
I think it definitely was, in my opinion.
Because at least with that Seahawks game, you got to see a team that everyone knew was the best team in the league all year finish the job against the Broncos team that was one of the best offenses in history. And, it was really crazy just to see the 49ers defense just shut them down like that. But anyway, moving on. Actually, before we move on, we'll do one more thing for the Super Bowl, and then we'll move on. Who went at the end of the game Sunday, who is announced as Super Bowl MVP?
I'd say it'll end up being Joey Bosa.
Nick Bosa,
I'm sorry. Yeah, I think it'll be one of those linemen.
Yeah, I'd say if it's one of those linemen, it will be Nick Bosa. It's crazy. You always forget he's a rookie, and he's just I've forgotten that all year this year, and then they'll say Nick Bosa in his first year in the league, and I'm like, I keep forgetting he's a rookie. That's so scary. But personally, I'm cheering for the Chiefs because I want Andy Reid to get this monkey off his back. He's a good guy. He's been in this league forever, and I hope he finally gets him one. And so that way, Mahomes won't have to hear about it all year that he choked in a big game. Because I like Mahomes too, even though they crushed my dreams last week, or 2 weeks ago. Anyway, moving on. Tennessee basketball sucks.
Yeah, they can't score, and that loss the other night was probably the death knell of the season. I mean, bubble teams, that's a quadrant 4 loss.
Yeah.
Bubble teams, you can't afford to have that happen to you. What's the bad thing about it is Texas A&M is better than their record. I knew they were going to start coming on eventually because they've got a great coach.
Buzz
A&M's
Williams,
going to be a factor in this league for years now with Buzz Williams down there. But
it's still so weird. Every time I see him, I think I'm watching Virginia Tech, and then I look at the score, and I'm like, oh, yeah, he's at Texas A&M now. Yeah. I just can't get him and Virginia Tech out of my head.
He had Virginia Tech competing in the ACC with no talent. And that game the other night was a rock fight. They drew them into a street fight, and they just killed us on the boards. I mean, the only way they scored was second chance points, it seemed like.
Yeah.
And we don't have anybody that can make a bucket when they have to. Bowden, just can't get it going.
That's probably what I was most disappointed in the game. I only got to watch the first half because I was at the Blackman-Siegel game, obviously. But when I looked at the box score, that was probably the thing I was most disappointed in. Actually, second most disappointed in was that I thought Jordan Bowden might have turned a corner against Kansas with that 17-point outing, but
Yeah.
I was wrong. And guess how many total points the bench has in the last 2 games?
It's like 5 or something, isn't it?
4.
Yeah.
And they are all from Jalen Johnson.
Yeah.
4 points.
Listen, man, this is where Rick Barnes really didn't do his job the last 2 or 3 years of recruiting. He just hadn't got any players on that team that can play. And decided, what's the kid's name? It's the 5-star.
Jordan James.
He's terrible. How is he a 5-star? I don't understand stuff like that. Nothing will get under my skin more than a kid that's a 5-star that can't play at all. And he's terrible. He doesn't give them anything most nights. So, don't have to worry about him going pro, I'll tell you that.
About the only person we have to worry about going pro is Pons.
Well, he ain't going to do it either. But,
well,
Pons,
that performance at Kansas definitely helped his stock.
Well, it shows he can play, but he followed it up with an egg. He didn't do anything the other night.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know what he did.
No, it was an emotional letdown from the Kansas game. And it's probably going to keep him out of the tournament. What they got to do now, for sure, they got to split with Kentucky. Without that, they've got to win one of those games then.
Yeah, for sure. Probably got to split with Auburn, too. Maybe a split with Arkansas would help you, too, because their net rating's pretty good.
If you do that, those 3.
And at the end of the day, even beating Kentucky and Auburn, and you still got ground to make up because this is one of the worst conferences. This is probably the worst the SEC's been in a while. This is like last year the SEC was like pretty good. Actually, it was really good last year, and now this year it doesn't even look like the same conference.
No, it doesn't. Kentucky, outside of Kentucky, as usual. Florida stinks. They were supposed to be a top 5 team.
Yep.
Auburn looks like they're really leaking oil now. Who else is good? LSU, they lose.
LSU's pretty good. No, they don't. Yeah. They're like undefeated in the conference.
LSU is really?
Yep, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check. Last time I checked, they were 7-0 in the SEC.
I could have sworn it.
They beat Bama by like 8 by like 12 the other night.
Yeah.
Let's look at these standings. SEC and LSU is they're 7-0. First is LSU 7-0. Second Kentucky 6-1. And third Auburn 5-2. Who did Kentucky lose to? I think they lost
like South Carolina, wasn't it?
Yeah. South Carolina hit that butt 3 on them on that buzzer beater.
I don't know how in the world that happened, but yeah.
It was a buzzer beater. Yeah, I forgot about that. So I think that March is going to be just everyone's going to try with a bracket, but someone who hasn't watched basketball all year would have just as good a chance as you to win your bracket pool, because this is literally just going to be half of these games. Just flip a coin, you'll probably do just as good.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Okay, moving on. We'll go ahead and wrap it up here with this. Jay Graham was hired as Tennessee's new running backs coach. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, I hope it helps recruiting because they've got to start recruiting better than what they are. Even though this year was pretty good, but we got to get it we got to start getting in the top 5 in the nation. And what they're hoping is that Graham opens up the Carolinas and Virginia. That's where we used to get players. We used to live off of the Carolinas, North and South Carolina, and that's not been the case because of freaking Clemson. So Graham's a good coach on the field. Can he recruit? Can he start getting some of these big-time players? That's going to be the key to whether it's worth it to bring him in.
And the big-time running back Tennessee's going after right now, Zach Evans,
out of Houston.
Yeah, the reports are his visit didn't go great. That's the reports.
Is that right?
Yeah.
When did you see that?
Well, of course, but you can't really trust these reports though, because they're from UGA Wire and Dog Nation. So I'm not going to trust it.
I hadn't heard anything about that at all, but I mean, it could be true. What's his name again?
Zach Evans.
Zach Evans. I'll have to look that up and see.
Yeah, he's number one. He's number one running back in the nation. He had his. Everyone says his final three is like Georgia, A&M, and maybe Bama, I think. But Georgia and A&M were in that final 3 or 5, and obviously Jay Graham came from A&M. So what a lot of Tennessee fans are hoping is that Jay Graham coming over to Tennessee, hopefully him and Graham had a good relationship, and hopefully Jay Graham coming over to Tennessee might sway him over to make a decision to come to Tennessee.
Those are the kind of players that we've just not been getting. And, if he goes to Georgia, it's just like, God. I mean, it's just, what can you do?
I mean,
these kids just go to the same schools over and over and over. Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson. It's like, can you go anywhere else? Any kids? Like,
all I know is if he doesn't go to Tennessee, which right now it doesn't look like he's going to, but if he doesn't go to Tennessee, as long as he's not in the SEC East, and hopefully he's not in the SEC period, but as long as he's not in the SEC East, okay. Because if he's not in the SEC East, that means we probably don't have to play him, but we might have to play him.
Yeah, I'd rather get A&M than Georgia, that's for sure.
Yeah, have fun at A&M with Jimbo. We'd be fine with that.
Or even Alabama. I'd rather go to Bama than Georgia.
I don't know about that, but well, here let me look at his profile, because I don't remember exactly what his final what he's narrowed his schools down to, but let's see here. So yeah, he's actually high on Georgia and Ole Miss, is what it says here, and then he's medium on everyone else. Bama, Auburn, basically every school in the SEC.
Kiffin doing his thing.
He sure is.
You watch. I bet he'll probably end up going there.
He's back. Kiffin. If Kiffin gets Zach Evans, that's basically him just saying I'm back.
Yeah.
That would not be good for anybody. And honestly, I don't know how him at Ole Miss is going to work out, and I don't know how Mike Leach at Mississippi State's going to work out. But that's going to be a fun rivalry to watch for the next few years, I think.
It probably will be.
And I'm just interested to see how Mike Leach does in the SEC, because that's something a lot of college football fans have wanted to see happen for a long time, is Mike Leach go to the SEC, and now that it's actually going to happen, I'm excited to see how he does.
Yeah, me too. I think Leach is a good coach. I think he's got a ceiling as far as what he can achieve, but they'll be a team you won't want to play. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let's see. Anything else you want to talk about before we head out here?
No, I think we've hit a bunch of stuff tonight. We had a lot to catch up on.
Yep. Well, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll probably do one again here in a week or two. If you guys liked it, go ahead and like the video and subscribe for more just sports videos, and you can go back and listen to our old podcast from this football season. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Anything else you want to say before we head out?
We didn't talk about any tennis action.
Oh, let's talk about that real quick before we head out. Okay.
Let's don't.
Oh, yeah. He's a Federer fan, so he's still a little salty that he... Man, that's not what I'm salty about. I'm mad at Sandgren.
God, man, that was the biggest joke I've ever seen.
Oh, my goodness.
7 match points. Now, one thing about that, out of those 7, 6 of those were on Federer's serve.
Well, okay. But still,
yeah, you'd think
7 match points.
Federer just can't beat Djokovic anymore. He's never going to beat him again in the Grand Slam. 3 out of 5.
Reed said on his show today it's 6 in a row for Djokovic over Federer.
It is in Grand Slams. I mean, there's just not anything he can do about it. Really, not anything anybody can do about it. I'd love to see Dominic Thiem win this thing.
Who do you have tonight? Thiem or what's the other guy's name? Zverev or whatever?
Zverev. I think Thiem will win pretty easily too. He might can beat Djokovic. I mean, he's got the kind of game that can give Djokovic trouble. But
yeah, I feel like both of them kind of maybe can give Djokovic trouble. I don't think either one of them might. I wouldn't take either one of them to beat him, but I think they can give him trouble.
Man, he lost a set in this whole tournament.
Who hasn't? Federer or Djokovic? Dang, I didn't realize that. Well,
yeah.
That'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Probably will be a Djokovic Australian Open win. But all right, anything else you want to say before we head out? Now I think we're actually done.
That'll be all, buddy. I'll talk to you next time.
All right, hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you later. See ya.